We begin with history in the making here in New York City. Former President Donald Trump landed just a few minutes ago at LaGuardia Airport. He disembarked the plane by himself and then entered a black SUV. He is now on his way to his residence at Trump Tower in Midtown.
Now it's all ahead of his arraignment tomorrow, where we will finally hear what he is charged with in connection to a $130,000 hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. In preparation, the NYPD has been stepping up security in and around both Trump Tower and the courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Before the former president took off from West Palm Beach, Florida today, his supporters lined the streets, a small group of them waving flags and shouting their disapproval for these criminal charges. Mayor Adams today and the NYPD commissioner said that wild scenes, protesters, will not be tolerated here if they become violent.
While there may be some rabble-rousers thinking about coming to our city tomorrow, our message is clear and simple. Control yourselves. New York City is our home, not a playground for your misplaced anger.
We have full team coverage from Trump's arrival at Trump Tower to what is expected tomorrow. But we begin with Shannon Stone, who is tracking the former president from above in Newscopter 7. Shannon, where are they now?
They have just gotten on to the FDR Drive. They just made the exit ramp off of the RFK Bridge. And as you've been following along with us here in Newscopter 7, it was about 3:26 that they were on their final approach to LaGuardia Airport, and it was not very long after that that they got in that motorcade. There is a motorcade here of about 10 vehicles, along with the police escort and an ambulance that are coming south on the FDR Drive now. Again, they just got onto the FDR heading southbound from the RFK Bridge, and they will be turning at some point to head over towards Trump Tower. And as predicted, there are police that are ahead of this motorcade that are leapfrogging the motorcade and making sure that any roads are closed that need to be closed ahead of this. So as you travel through the area, if the FDR or anything near Trump Tower was in your plans for today, and of course getting down towards the courthouse tomorrow, expect closures as these motorcades continue. But today's motorcade right now is southbound on the FDR Drive, and I'm just going to bring this shot out for you just a little bit to give you an idea. It's passing about 106th Street now. You can see police aviation overhead along with this escort on the road, but again heading south on the FDR, heading towards Trump Tower. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, they clearly cleared out the way ahead of that entourage. So from the air, we head to the ground. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson outside Trump Tower in Midtown.
Yeah, Kimberly, go ahead and set the scene. What is it like there today?
Well, right now, that much anticipated welcome home caravan. Well, there are 2 Trump flags here and about a dozen supporters. It was a short 2.5-hour flight, leaving one location and touching down here at yet another. As Shannon just mentioned, former President Trump, is expected to arrive here on 5th Avenue shortly. Trump Tower has been the location of many highs in his life and many lows. Add this to the list. The beginning of a trip no other president in U.S. history has ever taken. Donald Trump leaving Palm Beach, Florida Monday. Destination, Lower Manhattan to face a judge on Tuesday. People lined parts of the highway as his motorcade headed to the airport. Once there, the 76-year-old boarded his private plane with wheels up at 12:59. Here in Midtown, in the hours leading up to his arrival, outside Trump Tower, those like Dion from Brooklyn firmly backing the president, calling him his hero.
They're going to stifle him. They're going to try to shut him up tomorrow, but I doubt that's going to happen.
Since Thursday's indictment, security around what was Trump's home base here on 5th Avenue for decades got tighter. Officials stress there are no credible threats at this time, but will be getting real-time information and react as necessary.
I will remind everyone that violence and destruction are not part of legitimate, lawful expression, and it will never be tolerated in our city.
What's unfolding here is truly a remarkable moment in time as Trump prepares to spend the night in a building where he's seen the best and worst of times. Of note, descending down a golden escalator in the atrium in 2015 as he announced his run for president, to now this. in roughly 24 hours once Trump is fingerprinted, officially charged, and heading back to Florida as planned. Things here will quiet down, at least for now.
It's crazy. I certainly don't expect it. It's very sad to see a former American president being indicted. But love him or hate him, it's big news.
And again, as Shannon mentions, as you just saw from Newscopter 7, Trump making his way here to 5th Avenue, 56th Street. This is a bus here, of course, 5th Avenue, normally busy, busier than usual today. 56th Street is right behind this bus. That's where we expect the former president to walk into Trump Tower. Heading and looking ahead to tomorrow, officials are urging everybody to try and use mass transit, again, as this historic court proceeding gets underway. For now, we're live in Midtown. Kimberly Richardson, Channel 7. Eyewitness News.
Thank you. As police said today, there will be rolling street closures starting very soon, as you see the president's motorcade, former president's motorcade, still on the FDR. We want to go back up to Shannon Sohn, who is in Newscopter 7. Shannon, what are we expecting here now as the former president makes his way closer to Midtown and Trump Tower?
Well, now we're going to see them really starting to leapfrog the closures in place. Now, we just lost them underneath the hospital here along the FDR Drive by 67th Street. So we're waiting to see where exactly they are going to turn to get on to the local streets. Yeah, here they come, coming out by 62nd Street now. So presumably they are going to make that turn. As Kimberly mentioned, we are waiting for him to get to Trump Tower, but this is literally at this point just minutes away. The entire motorcade is taking up the entirety of the southbound side of the FDR Drive, at this point coming directly underneath the 59th Street Bridge. And as we mentioned, the security around Trump Tower has been upped significantly in the last few days in preparation for this. So that is what we are waiting for at this point. They're going to make that turn off of the FDR Drive, getting into the local streets, and that's where you're going to start to see closures as you travel through the area along with the motorcade. So keep that in mind. Again, right now, south on the FDR Drive, it looks like they're getting ready to turn onto the local streets. We have not seen that happen yet, but of course, as we keep track of this motorcade, we will keep you updated on his progress as he makes his way towards Trump Tower.
Shannon, one quick question. As you followed the former president's motorcade from the airport to now here, at any point through your camera from Newscopter 7, did you guys see any Trump supporters along the way? Obviously.
Absolutely not. It has been a very, very quiet ride. Now, of course, this has been on some major roadways. They took Ditmars Boulevard on to the Grand Central Parkway. On the Grand Central Parkway, they then went up to the FDR Drive and traveled south down the FDR Drive. So not a lot of opportunity yet for people to be out supporting or against the president at this point. As it gets into the more local streets, we might see more of that, but surprisingly not very much thus far. It's just been a quiet motorcade going through the city.